Hello and welcome to episode number 69 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk about the hobby that makes us happy, tabletop gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim. And today, Dan, we're going to talk about if Lorcana can break into the big four.
All right. So if you can't tell, we're on a bit of a Lorcana kick. And guys, I don't know when this is going to end.
We weren't even planning on doing Lorcana today.
We were not.
And Dan was like, oh, so I was in the Discord and like this happened. And I'm like, huh.
It was an interesting meme. Believe it or not, it was a meme.
Yeah.
Like this was just a literal meme, and it got us thinking. Mm-hmm. So we decided to start talking about it, and like the shirts today.
Yeah, this
not planned.
Not hashtag not scripted.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not scripted. So, but before we get into the episode, we need to talk about our sponsor, Amazon Audible. All right. So, you know what? If you guys head over to our affiliate link at www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial of Amazon's Audible service. That's right. When you sign up for your free trial, you get a free audiobook added to your account. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get 2 free books added to your account. So you get to sign up for that free 30-day trial. You can cancel before the end of that 30 days if you don't like the service, but you get to keep your free books. That's right. So head on over there. There's a lot of great books. There's a lot of great Disney books, obviously, because Disney's just been around for forever. So head over to our affiliate link. Sign up for your free 30-day trial today, and then hang on to that, and then you get your free book kind of every month. So again, www.audibletrial.com/hobbies and happiness. All right.
Yes.
So here's the meeting, guys. Okay. So I was telling Jim, I'm like, so I was in the Lorcana Discord today. We were actually talking a lot about Magic and Commander. Okay. And there's a lot of great ideas floating around. There was people who were saying, there was somebody who was, the problem with text chats, right, all the time is, you can read into things that people really aren't saying. And so what I try to do a lot of times in any sort of text chat is kind of make sure that I'm really understanding what somebody's saying. Mm-hmm. So I try to do that, okay? And so I thought somebody was saying like, just because, Commander started as a fan-made format, okay? And so somebody was saying how, Commander was bad for Magic as a whole. At least I thought that's what they were saying. And I'm like, well, hang on. Like, Commander's like the most popular format. And now Wizards is like making cards specifically for that format, okay? And again, my thinking, my thought process was Commander is the most popular format. I just didn't see how Wizards making cards specifically for Commander is bad for Magic as a whole, let alone the Commander format. Okay.
So my initial thought as soon as you said it was,
sure,
if we're going back to what it was like when EDH was first being a thing on forums, right? It's like, oh, check out this new format.
Yeah.
It's a completely different way to play Magic.
Yes.
So at that point, could you have been like, oh, this isn't good for Magic as a whole. This is what Magic is. Mm-hmm. This is how we're playing it. And then these other people are like, well, actually, we just want to have pretty limited resources, or not like limited resources, but like
the podcast, limited resources.
Yeah, like limiting yourself a lot inside your deck creation.
Yeah.
Right. And then making it a 4-man free-for-all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like you're completely changing how Magic is kind of played. So at that, I could kind of see being like, oh yeah, this kills Magic, or this changes Magic drastically. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and it's also just a different format. You don't have to play that. Yeah. And if there's no demand for it, right, if no one wants to play it, it's not really going to be a thing. It could be there, but it's not really a thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. So as I'm in the Discord, I'm having conversations, all good conversations, by the way. I'm just scrolling through the Discord, checking out these other channels and kind of seeing what people are posting. And there was a tweet that was posted, okay? The tweet was from Citizens of Lorcana. If you're not aware, the Twitter account Citizens of Lorcana has a thing where they post a meme a day. until hashtag Lorcana news. They're like, it's been day 44 since the end of D23, and we still have not heard a peep, a thing about Lorcana. So you definitely should check out the Twitter account. And it was, there's always funny memes. Okay. Yeah. So citizens of Lorcana, keep it up. You're doing an amazing job. But anyway, this tweet was, so meme a day until hashtag Lorcana news, day 44 since the end of D23, and tagging Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger. Yeah. Okay. And then they made a comment and said, not saying it will, I think, be next year or the year after, but eventually people will speak of Lorcana the same way they do MTG, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the meme was the change my mind meme, right? Yeah. And it says, eventually Lorcana will be accepted and be a part of the big four. Change my mind. So I'm like, so my initial response, my initial thought was, will it though? That was my initial thought. Granted, I'm extremely excited for this game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But again, as I've said many, many times on this podcast, I have a lot of pessimism. I'm very skeptical and pessimistic. Okay. Like, again, admittedly, I'm very pessimistic, just as a general rule, typically, right? Yeah. But that does not take away from my excitement. Okay. And so when I read this, okay, Jim seemed a lot more open-minded.
I was definitely more open to it.
Yeah, more open to it, which surprised me, very much surprised me. So, like, what was your initial take? Granted, this is a meme, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So my initial thought, right, was, all right, when it comes to the big three, there's probably not going to be any change to the big three at all. Yeah. But you can bring in another to bring it into a big four, right? Mm-hmm. A top four and a top five is not the same thing as the big four, big five. Yeah. Right? Because for me, the big three are so far ahead in terms of the other games.
So hang on. Can you explain that again? Because what you said, so you said there's a difference between big three, big four, big five. Yeah. There's a difference between saying that and saying top three, top four, top five. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So in terms of, all right, like how much money they're making, I guess like competitive showing, how long they've been around, which I don't think something has to be around for extremely long in order to even break into it. But I do think kind of becoming an evergreen can help you become a part of that. So with how much these three games have done throughout the entire gaming history for card games, we look at what could even be number 4 in terms of the top fourth or the fourth largest TCG. Right
right now, would you say it's Flesh and Blood?
I don't know if I would say Flesh and Blood, Digimon, or like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. Yeah. Right. I do think it's one of those three. I don't know exact numbers. Okay. But I would bet and say it's one of those three. Right. So I guess you could say we got a top 6 showing.
Now hang on. Like once Lorcana comes out, once Lorcana is officially released, I think it will immediately be ahead of Dragon Ball and Digimon just based on the IP. Yeah. Like again, because Disney is such a massive IP, like again, right now, all we have to go on is the IP, but Disney has such a massive following, okay? And because of the IP alone, I think it will immediately shoot ahead of Digimon and Dragon Ball, okay? Flesh and Blood
I could see for a short time, but like we also have to see what the game's like.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I am speaking 100% in the short term, right? Short term immediately upon release because of the IP. Okay. Yeah. Long term is a completely different thing. Yeah. And again, when you talk long term, we have to then go back and look at the overall history, of card games, right? And that's where like my pessimism kind of comes into full swing a little bit, right? But again, short term, I think immediately on release, Lorcana will be immediately ahead of Dragon Ball and Digimon.
Yeah. So then like we look at the top 3 in terms of like a percentage of how much, I don't want to say like money that they're making, right? But like as a whole of what they've done for gaming history.
Yeah, for the card game community, essentially.
Yes. And then we look at whatever number 4 is, and if that's like what 1% of what those are doing, 2%, 5%, 10%, I really don't even think you can make a top like a big 4 unless we're talking at least 60% of what these other games have pretty much accomplished.
So, you know what would be interesting is I would want to look at if this data is even available, but like market share data, market share data of the card game community, essentially. So I think now this is based off of nothing, right? But I think if you were to look at like a pie chart and look at the,
I just thought of a really good thing. All right, go ahead.
So if you look at a pie chart of the card game community, right? I would venture to guess. I mean, I think I start off at the baseline that Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh are relatively similar in terms of market share.
Yeah.
I think Magic and Pokemon are probably larger than Yu-Gi-Oh. By how much, that's a good question. That I would not know how to answer. But I think generally speaking, they would be close. They would be good approximates of each other. And then my assumption is what's left over may be, I don't know, maybe you have like, I don't want to, no, not 20, no, maybe like 15 to 20% is split between however many other card games. Again, this is based off of nothing, and I'm just kind of thinking of what makes sense to me. I don't have any data to go off of.
So the thing I was just thinking about, right? It's all right. You think about in terms of, let's say, deck tiers, right? The Magic as a deck, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon are all tier 0 decks.
S tier, essentially. Yes. Right. Okay.
And like card games, it's like it's called tier 0 if it's ridiculously broken.
I gotcha. Sure.
Or tier 1. The deck is tier 1.
Right.
And then
the highest tier.
Yeah, exactly.
The highest tier.
So we have those 3 chilling up at the highest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. And it'll be random RNG.
I like that analogy.
Sometimes this deck is better than this one, depending on which country. This deck's better than this one. Yu-Gi-Oh beats Magic, Magic beats Pokemon, whatever it is. And then we have the 4th best deck in the format at tier 4. Right, we have tier 5 decks. It's like it's not even a rogue deck, right? It's because rogue, you can see rogue at like a 2.5 tier list. And so it's like what new deck, what new game that comes out is going to be able to compete with these tier 0, tier 1 decks.
I like that analogy. That's a great analogy, actually. That's really good. So based off of that, where's Flesh and Blood? Where do you think Flesh and Blood would fall in an analogy like that? Man. Because I think that's a perfect analogy, actually.
Yeah, like it's hard because it's completely different than like all the other games, right?
Right, absolutely.
So I could definitely see it being like a rogue, a 2.5 showing, a tier 3. Like it's a good game, and it's completely different than all the other ones.
And I think too, it's climbing that rank. There we go. I think I combined rank and ladder into one word. I got rank. But so I think that Flesh and Blood is climbing that ladder, right? Will it ever get to that tier 0 mark? I don't know. Like it's got a lot to prove, just like Lorcana does. Like, admittedly, Lorcana is definitely going to have a lot to prove once it hits the market. Okay, and I've said this before. I think it's got a great head start, just based off the following and the IP. Right.
One of the things I do also like that it has going for it, it's not looking to be a very competitive game. Right.
Yes,
they've stated like they don't want it to be at the highest level. Chess's highest level, they want to be like checkers, essentially.
They want to be a few steps behind that.
Like they still want to be a thinking game. They still want to be a good game, but it's a little bit more casual. And when it comes to the grand masses of people,
that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Really casual games can just take over ridiculously.
Like Villainous? But honestly, though, like I think yes, I'm kind of joking a little bit, but like Villainous is very popular, right? And it is a casual game. Again, yes, there are people who play it competitively, not taking anything away from it, but most likely the majority of people who play Villainous play it in a very casual setting. But that is an extremely popular game, right? And again, I think the popularity of Villainous has a lot to do with the IP. Like I think the fact that they started with Disney very much helped Villainous as a game system, right? Because then then they moved on and did some Marvel, Star Wars stuff. I think the fact that they started with Disney, and the Villainous community is still clamoring for more Disney Villainous content, and not Marvel, not Star Wars. They want more Disney villains, right? Because again, you have that storied history. You have so much to pull from, and so I think being like marketing towards the casual fan base is going to set you up more for success than failure.
Especially when they're kind of following what Pokemon has pretty much done of like, it's for the card game players, but it's also for the people who just want to collect it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like that is going to be another huge part of the game.
And see, it's interesting to me because like I initially thought that, and I'll be very interested to see how this all plays out, right? But I initially thought the fact that Lorcana might be marketing more towards yes, we're going to be a card game, but we also want to market towards the collectors. Okay. Now, whether or not they're going to market that way or not is not going to stop Disney collectors from making it a collector's product, right? I thought that was going to be a negative for the game of Lorcana. But you know what? Like, I mean, Pokemon has done it pretty successfully. And we talk about Pokemon as one of the big three, right? And so they're clearly doing something right, right?
You know, now thinking about it, Pokemon in the entire world of how many people like play and collect it, I think Pokemon is #1 in the world. Because if I'm thinking about, right, like Magic and Pokemon are big in the West. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon are big in the East. They both have Pokemon in both sides of the world.
Pokemon's everywhere.
It's huge. Pokemon has taken over the world twice now. Once when it first came out, and then when Pokemon Go took over, I guess maybe
it's
going to
take over again.
I kind of want to say 3 times because like when COVID hit. Right? So many places were like, we're not selling individuals more than 2 products of Pokemon at once.
Like
I
remember going to our local Target and seeing the signs. Everything was gone. And
you see videos of like people starting fights in the Pokemon aisle. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Team Rocket's real. They're trying to get these Pokemon.
They are. That's funny. Yeah, but it was true. Very true.
It was nuts.
So, I initially thought, I'm like, it's a joke. This is clearly a joke. But guys, it's not. Like I don't think it may not be.
As soon as he said it, I was like, I think you might be onto something. He's like, I was just joking. I'm like, but I think you might be onto something.
And honestly, like part of me too kind of took a lot of this because there was another meme, right? Of the Undertaker, right? The Undertaker's behind somebody, right? So you got the Undertaker is Lorcana, right? And then the guy in front is Yu-Gi-Oh! Enjoying being in the top 3. Like that's funny because I don't think Lorcana's going to take. Lorcana's not going to take over Yu-Gi-Oh. Like Lorcana is not going to replace either Magic, Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I don't see that happening. But what we do see, what we do see is Lorcana making its way up there potentially. Right now, again, I'm always going to throw this caveat in there that Lorcana has a lot to prove. It's off to a great start because again, right now we know 7 cards, but look at all this hype. Look at all this hype, and that hype is 100% because it's Disney.
it's Disney.
100% because it's Disney. Like, right? And if you think, like, for better or for worse, it is what it is. The hype is 100% because it's Disney. Take last week's episode where we talked about Disney characters, putting them in the Magic universe, right? Like we did. I mean, we did a lot of characters, and like we didn't even scratch the surface.
Yeah, not even close.
We did not even scratch the surface about the amount of stories that are there to tell. And at the end of the day, like, what are you doing? Yes, we're playing a game, but what do people really want? Even in the casual space, right? They want to have a good time. Yeah. But honestly, like if you're telling a story, like that's what people really are looking for, I think.
Yeah.
Like even when I sit down to play a game, I step away from that session completely differently if I go good game or I say good game, but also I'm like, I have this feeling of like, I just felt like, and I've talked about this with Villainous, right? Where I really felt like I was this villain. I was the embodiment of this character. Or if these cards are telling the story, right? I have a different feeling, right? And I think that is going to be to Lorcana's benefit. And they don't even have to do much, right? I mean, yes, they have to deliver. Okay, I don't want to say that. Like they 100% have to deliver. Okay, like the bar right now is being set so high, right? And they must deliver.
Yeah.
Like I have high hopes, and I think they will. Like I think Ryan Miller, I think the entire team will deliver. Okay. But that does not take away from like those hopes and expectations are already being set. And as each and every day goes by, I feel like they're just going higher and higher and higher. Right. So like I can't imagine the amount of pressure that this game development team must really feel.
Yeah. I was actually also just thinking, could I see, let's say it gets to be a top 4 and maybe in a couple of years, right? It does make it to where it passed up Pokemon. It passed up Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably not passed up Magic. Right? But like
honestly, I don't see it doing that. But again,
I'm just saying
sure,
hypothetically, right? Like it gets to the point where it's in that tier 0 mark.
Sure, okay.
I don't think there's any way where it becomes the best game by far to where it becomes a tier 0 and the other ones have now become a tier 1 deck.
Yeah, right.
Right. And then with that whole fight of all the decks being the same tier, right? It's that little RNG that can happen that forces them to be better than the other ones. It's like, oh, Pokemon came out with a new game that everyone's loving. Oh, that one came up. Oh, Magic's getting ready for its Pro Tour. It's causing a lot more hype in this one, and then this one goes up. And same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Blah, blah, blah. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out with a new movie, or whatever it is, which they do. They have a couple movies.
Right.
And so it's like, there's this RNG aspect in these card games that causes them to be better than.
Wait a second. RNG in card games?
What? It's like I used another analogy.
But honestly though, like, and that's why I really do like that analogy, right? Yeah. Because it acknowledges the reality of the market and the reality of card games. 100%, right? And how many times, like, I think as card game players, we acknowledge and recognize RNG and accept it for what it is. I think other types of players do not like RNG.
Yeah, no.
Like generally, and guys, correct me if you think I'm wrong.
But they're perfectly fine with rolling dice, right?
I think board game players, for the most part, don't like the amount of RNG that is inherent in card games. Yeah. For the most part. Again, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just something that I feel like I've noticed in the tabletop community that most board game players do not like RNG. They think it's a bad thing, which, I mean, yes, like I can agree with you. I like RNG. Yes, I want as little RNG as possible in my decks. And that's why I build them accordingly, right? I build them in a way such that I am able to be as consistent as possible. But one of the joys of playing card games is I don't know what I'm drawing off the top of my deck.
Yeah.
And then I have to think on my feet and make the correct play. I got to make the right line. I got to see the line, make that play line, and then know what the math is and be like, all right, I have a possibility of drawing this. And so if I draw that, how am I going to play this hand?
Yep.
Right. And like, that's fun to me. I enjoy that. Like, it's a rush.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Right?
100%.
But board game players are like, that's just causing me too much anxiety.
I'm going to throw RNG on top of an already RNG game.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to play draft mode card games.
yeah, right.
Oh, what'd you pull? Nothing good? All right, now play with it.
Yeah. And that's why I still don't, I feel like I'm never going to be the biggest fan of draft.
Yeah.
I always like the constructed formats because yes, I enjoy RNG kind of, but I want as little as possible in my decks as I'm playing. Now, drafting is fun. Like I'll do it occasionally.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
I'll do it occasionally, like when we did the two-headed giant.
We do it socially.
Yeah.
We draft socially.
That's a good one. That's good. But it's true.
I'm just on a roll today, dude.
Dude, you absolutely are, man. I feel like you haven't talked this much in like a long time.
Oh. Since Talran deck profile.
Yeah. Guys, like I did not think that we were gonna go this way tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
What were we gonna talk about? I guess we'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah. No, but like this is Lorcana has so much going for it, dude. Like right now, all the content that's being put out for it is just hype and speculation, right? Which is not normal. Excuse me. It's not abnormal, right? It's not abnormal for an IP, right? It's just, but what I am noticing, right, is the amount of hype that is being generated around this game is just astronomical. It's
ridiculous.
I mean, the fact that the professor put out a video, like laughing essentially, right, which was a good video, and I don't disagree with anything he said in that video, right? But I think the fact that he put that out, right, just says something. Like I think it says a lot about Lorcana just as a game.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, I am still, the thing that I'm kind of still struggling with a little bit is like how to analyze, right, Lorcana and like Flesh and Blood a little bit, because Flesh and Blood just celebrated 3 years, okay, and year after year after year is continually growing, right, and that's based off of nothing, right. What I mean is it came from kind of nowhere and from like obscurity and is just climbing, and like there's not a lot of people that have negative things to say about Lorcana, or excuse me, Flesh and Blood. Flesh and Blood.
The only thing that I ever hear people saying as a negative about it was how expensive that it can be.
Yeah, right. Right.
But I mean, Magic can be expensive.
Anything can be expensive.
Anything can be expensive.
Especially TCG. Especially a trading card game.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. So, Jim, you know, one thing that I kind of want to know, like, you have surprised me from the standpoint of, like, how hyped that you kind of are around this. Like, what are a few of the things that you're kind of really excited about Lorcana? Like, what's exciting you?
I think the biggest thing, and I think this also stems from my history with MMORPGs.
Okay.
So as of right now, there's like a couple really big ones, but I'm always excited to play new ones, and maybe these new ones will kind of hit me differently or hit me the same in how I used to like to experience these games.
Okay.
And so whenever a new one comes out, I'm always excited to try it. And I'm always hopeful that it's going to become the next big one, right? It's going to compete with WoW. It's going to compete with Final Fantasy 14. It's going to compete with ESO.
Right.
So I'm looking at this card this card game, and I've played a lot of card games, right? A lot of TCGs. I've played the big three. I played Flesh and Blood, Digimon. I guess now the top six, right?
Right.
Dragon Ball Z, Vanguard, Final Fantasy. Like I've played a lot of these different card games, and I'm looking for another one that I can say I play this game. Not just, oh, I've played this game.
Yeah, right.
Right. And kind of like growing a community with that in the area.
Absolutely.
And having these experiences of you started literally from day one.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I used to do this with Card Fight Vanguard. I was pretty much there from day one with Vanguard, and like growing with everyone and trying to get more people in the area to play, seeing them grow as players in this game and watching them have however much fun that I had with it, and just bringing people into it. So I'm excited because there's something new coming out, and I could relive all of these experiences over again, and hopefully have another place to call home.
Yeah. And like, I think like one thing that I kind of thought about when you were just talking there, is potential.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and like, I don't say this selfishly either. Right. Because, and we've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Like for us as a community, us as a channel, right? Of like, we've got a new card game coming out, man. There's this huge opportunity for us to really dive in and continue to build and grow our community and make specific content around this game, and we will be there from the get-go. Like that, for as a content creator, that's exciting, right? That is that's very exciting.
You can be there from day one, day zero, whatever you want to call it. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I'm like, and I don't want to, and I don't say that because I am only looking at it from that aspect of, oh man, we're going to get in day one, and it's going to be huge for us. No, like we are genuinely excited for this. Okay. I mean, last week, I talked about, guys, if you listened to last week's podcast and just me talk all about these characters and like, can't see that I have seen all these movies. I have all of this Disney knowledge. And I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but
weird
like
flex, but okay.
Yeah. Right. But actually, so this today, actually, my daughter was like singing a song, and I'm like a Disney song, right? And I'm like, I jump in and I'm start singing it too. I'm like, honey, I've known this song for years and years and years.
Since
like
before you were born.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is only like 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. But like again, I remember watching Aladdin. I remember sitting on my parents' couch and watching that movie and just falling in love with that movie, and watching Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, and then The King of Thieves. I loved that one too. Yeah. It's just like the nostalgia is strong. I think nostalgia is going to be I think nostalgia is going to be a big driving factor for this game too, right? I mean, again, just same with Pokemon, right? It was the same thing of why Pokemon got so big in the West because of the nostalgia, right? And so there's going to be an equally we're going to see the same thing happen with Lorcana, right? Like, again, I was thinking about the movie Great Mouse Detective. That was another movie I absolutely loved. I can't wait to see some cards from that movie. Yeah. Like, I am so interested to see what kind of cards that they're going to come up with, what the rules are going to be. Like, there's so many questions. All I have are questions. Yeah. But I'm so excited to see what's going to be there, right?
Dude, one thing I've noticed from like being at work, whenever people will come in, like older people around my age, and they come in and like see the Pokemon cards and like the Pokemon plushies if we have any there, and like the look on their face, you can see mentally they're going back in time, being like, "Oh, I had these cards when I was blah 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 blah. I used to watch the show," and it's like it's so great watching that happen. And it's going to happen with literally everyone.
I know.
With Disney.
I know.
Everyone.
It's well, so the other day we were coming home from church and I let my kids watch a movie in the car. Okay. And so I'm listening to it. They were watching Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Another phenomenal movie. Okay. I'm quoting it as I'm driving and they're like, "Dad, stop." I'm like, "What? I love this movie. What are you talking about?" So I'm quoting it. And all the while I'm like, I wonder what Little John's gonna look like. I wonder if they'll do a card from this specific moment in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the Sheriff of Nottingham, Friar Tuck, the Nutsy and Trigger, the vultures who are the archers.
Yeah.
Okay. So many things. I'm like, Are they going to have Robin Hood, Little John in their disguises when they were robbing Prince John? What's Prince John going to do?
They get evasion.
Yeah, like so many things. I'm just like, there's just so much there. There's so much history to pull from. Yeah. And like right now, I'm looking at the Robin Hood card, and I love the artwork. Like that's another thing that I'm just super stoked, right, to see new artwork, right? That's going to be huge too.
Oh,
is the new artwork. But like nostalgia, I think nostalgia is probably going to be one of the biggest things that propels Lorcana to a great start.
Yep.
Okay. So like again, you've got the big three starting up here. Lorcana. So, I mean, if this is the bottom, I think Lorcana is already going to start like here. Just because of the IP, because of the history, because of the nostalgia, like Lorcana, and we've said this before, but Lorcana is going to be off to a running start.
Oh, yeah.
100%. 100%.
They've been in the making for 100 years, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, dude. There's so much to pull from. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So we're excited. We are 100% excited for Lorcana, and it's just I'm looking at the meme again, and I'm just like, I thought it was a meme.
I thought we were joking.
Joking, and then
Jim started thinking.
Yeah. It's like, is it a real possibility? It could be. It could be.
I think so.
Like it's a completely different conversation than saying Lorcana is going to take over Magic.
Yeah.
Right. Or
yeah.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to take over or replace any one of them.
Could it outparse Yu-Gi-Oh in the West? Sure. Could it outparse Magic in the East? Sure.
Yeah.
But like that's a different thing.
Right. But I mean, and the other thing too is I'm very interested to see how Lorcana will do worldwide. Yeah. Not just in the West, but worldwide.
I mean, they have how many different Disney worlds across the world?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Are they gonna have cards in the parks? I'll be interested. Oh man.
They're gonna have tournaments in the parks, Stan. They're gonna have the World Championship.
The World Championship.
In the ball.
Dude. Well, not in the ball.
In the ball.
Yeah, the ball is a ride.
I know it is.
All right. I'm like, well, that'd be sick though.
Right?
That would be so sick. Because you know that they're gonna. Do you think? And this here's. I think this might even be another topic for another day. But do you think they will have a world championship?
I don't know.
Based off of what they've said so far.
I think just based off of what they said, no, I don't think so. That doesn't mean stuff can change if they see a large demand for competitive play. Right. I could see them being like, okay, let's give it a shot.
Do you think that demand for competitive play will be there? Again, there's not a lot to go off of right now. But
I think so.
I mean, I agree with you because of it being a card game.
Yeah.
And the demand right now for these types of experiences.
Yeah.
I think that'll be that. Again, this is probably a different topic for another day, but I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you guys think? Do you think like that we're gonna have this type of demand? Like, that'd be very interesting.
Someone's going to be like, you guys are overthinking it. It was just a joke. The guy who posted it is going to come into the video. Be like, dude, look, I'm sorry. I'll take down the post. Delete video, please.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, dude,
Let's tag him when we post
this.
this.
Yeah. That's great. In fact, I've got the Discord open now. I'm just trying to see if anything's kind of been put up. No, not really. Okay.
See our next video topic?
Maybe.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. So, with that being said, before we get into this, I want to kick it to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think Lorcana has the potential to be a part of the new Big Four?
Does it make a Big Four?
Does it make a Big Four? Does it make the Big Three? Or is it going to be more in the conversation of top 4, top 5?
Yeah.
Because I really like that analogy. I thought that was a perfect analogy. Is it going to be a tier 0 deck? Is it going to be a tier 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5? What tier are we thinking? But yeah, what do you think? Comment down below. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think, because we'd be very interested to know. Because honestly, up to now, I've been extremely pessimistic.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I've been extremely pessimistic.
As soon as it came out, Dan was like, "Terrible! What the?"
And I think I'm going to stand behind the reason. My reasoning is cautiousness.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely cautious.
What are we trying to be cautious for?
I don't know, man.
It's
like
literally our lifestyle.
I know. I'm like, because I want it to be good. Like, I don't want to be let down.
I see.
That's it. I think that's the thing. I think that's it. Am I crazy?
So what happens if they let you down? You go back to playing Magic.
Yeah.
Like nothing changes.
Like nothing changes. Yeah. I go back to playing all these other games.
You go back to watching your Disney movies.
Yeah, and playing Villainous
and doing nothing else different other than I now don't have to think about this game.
Yeah. But I want to think about this game. So, Ravensburger, please give me more information.
Day 46.
Whatever day today is.
Day 45, whatever that was.
Whenever this is going to get posted, whatever day it'll be, we'll be sure to tag Citizens of Lorcana and be like, what's today? What's today's day?
What day are we on?
Or maybe by the time we're recording this, when this episode airs, maybe we'll have more information.
Holy cow. I didn't even think about that.
Same. All right. Well, guys, leave us your thoughts down below. And then now we're going to get into the card of the week. All right. Card of the week. This week, drum roll, please. It's a magic card. It is
the Will of the Windseeker.
What?
Whatever it's called there.
Soul of Windgrace.
Soul of Windgrace.
Soul of Windgrace. So Soul of Windgrace is from Dominaria United. When I saw this card spoiled, I immediately fell in love. Yeah. Okay, because I am retooling a Jund lands deck for Commander, and my commander was Lord Windgrace. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read Soul of Windgrace first. So Soul of Windgrace is a 4-mana, 1 in Jund, so 1 black, red, green, for a 5/4 legendary creature cat avatar. So he's Mufasa, basically. Literally Mufasa. Yeah. Go to last week's episode and see that one. All right, but whenever Soul of Windgrace enters the battlefield or attacks, you may put a land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control.
That's better
than your graveyard. It is a graveyard, yes.
Okay.
And it also has 3 activated abilities. You can pay a green, discard a land card, you gain 3 life. You can pay 1 and a red and discard a land card to draw a card. And you can pay 2 and a black and discard a land card. Soul of Windgrace gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
Huh.
So life gain, you can draw a card and gains indestructible.
Yeah.
So that Soul of Windgrace. So Soul of Windgrace is kind of an upgraded Lord Windgrace. So Lord Windgrace was the commander of my lands deck. So Lord Windgrace is a 5-mana planeswalker, 2 and Jund, so 2 black, red, green for a legendary planeswalker Windgrace. Comes in with 5 loyalty. You can +2 discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, you get to draw an additional card. You can -3 them, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you can -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents, then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. Lord Windgrace can be your commander. So the biggest thing about Lord Windgrace is really the +2 and -3. Mostly the -3 is probably what you'll utilize him for the most. However, so when I saw Soul of Windgrace, my immediate thought was, is that going to replace Lord Windgrace? I think the answer is yes.
Dan hits me up like as soon as he saw it. He's like, which one do I play?
Yeah, literally.
And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, they're both good.
They're both good. But regardless, whichever one you do, I think the other one goes in the 99.
100%.
Other one goes in the 99.
When you're at a point where it's the exact same colors and you're like, which one do I play as the commander? It's instantly, they're both in the deck.
They're both in the deck, right.
And like, you can always change it up whenever you want. You're like, all right, let's play the planeswalker.
Yes, exactly. That's true. That's true. What I like about Soul of Windgrace is the ETB ramp. Is the ETB and attack. ETB and attack from any graveyard.
Yeah, that part was, you know what I really...
Any graveyard. That's insane, dude.
You know what I really like about it? The fact that like you just keep trying to get Bojuka Bog and like sack the Bojuka Bog and then like be attack and then I'm gonna play it and then I'm just gonna start exiling graveyards over here. I mean, you know I love exiling stuff.
Oh yeah.
That was instantly where my brain went. I'm like, I can replay Bojuka
Bog. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. I can play your Bojuka Bog.
You can play my Bojuka Bog.
I can play your Bojuka Bog that you use.
And then it doesn't even get removed.
Yeah. Yep. Triggers on the oh, man.
Sacrifice it, put it back into their yard.
Put it back. Oh, dude.
Give your boy haste, swing in, take back their Bojuka Bog, get rid of someone else's graveyard.
There's so many great lands. Yeah. You've got Dark Depths. You have Dark Depths. You have, well, the combo is Dark Depths with... oh shoot, what's the name of it?
I was about to say Savala. It's not Savala.
No, not Savala. The name of the land. Oh goodness gracious! It's the land basically is you can pay 2. You can pay 2, tap it to turn it into another land, basically, or you play Vesuva.
Doesn't that enter as? So it gets the counters.
Oh yes, that's true. So I don't think Vesuva would work. Yeah. I don't think Vesuva would work. Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Oh goodness, this is gonna kill me.
They do it in Legacy.
I got it right now.
They do it in Legacy. Okay, I forget exactly what it's called. The combo is just like you have out the Dark Depths and then you have out this
Thespian
other card.
Stage. There we go. It's Thespian Stage.
Thespian.
Thespian Stage. That's what it is. Okay. Because it's a land you can pay 2 and tap it. Thespian Stage becomes a copy of target land, except it has this ability.
Okay.
So you turn the Thespian Stage into the Dark Depths. You have to sack one of them.
But
and then once, right? Well, that doesn't matter, right? Because Dark Depths. So Dark Depths enters the battlefield with 10 ice counters. When Dark Depths has no ice counters on it, sack it. If you do, create Merit Lodge.
Okay.
So once Thespian Stage becomes Dark Depths, it does not have the counters on it.
Yep.
So then you sack it to itself, and then you get Merit Lodge.
Gotcha.
I think it's Merit Lodge. I've heard Merit Lage, but I say Merit Lodge. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Loggy.
Yeah, Merit Loggy. A 2020 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible.
That's a big boy.
Oh, big boy. You know what feels bad? When you go through the combo and then you get Merit Lodge and then it gets exiled. I'm like, oh, I went through all that work.
Yeah, it's great.
I went through all that work.
Who wins, Merit Lodge or 20 Squirrel Boys?
If you have
Of course
squirrel
you have
fang, yeah, yeah. Give me that one. That's another one I kind of want to build.
Yeah.
Is the squirrel boy?
Golgari.
Yeah. Golgari squirrels. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really just the Golgari tokens list.
It is, and that's like I enjoy building token lists. But yeah, I am Soul of Windgrace is the next one I need to finish retooling because I've got a lot of the pieces literally sitting over there. But as soon as I saw that card, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is good. So I got my Morag, the landfall. You get another combat or combat step essentially.
Okay. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay. I know.
Yeah. Like one of
the Minotaur guy.
Yeah, one of the win conditions essentially. Yeah. It's Pumbaa. What's it's Pumbaa? I've got Windgrace as Mufasa. I got Morag as Pumbaa. Which one's Timon? That's actually build a Lion King deck.
Oh goodness!
Gotta get it themed around Lion King.
Please don't.
Do you know? But dude, come on! Like this even has Lorcana, man. Like let's build. Let's get a commander format and then start build. Oh,
that's gonna be up to the community to decide.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, more news. Give us news, please. Let us know what's going on with this game. Yes. But all right, that's enough. It's enough out of me. But that's the card of the week. Soul of Windgrace. Yes. Has anybody played Soul of Windgrace? Do you guys like Jund? Jim, you like Jund?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Jund.
You're a fan of Jund
because it's taking the whole thing of Gruul that I hate and corrupting it. I'm all about corruption.
Again, go listen to last week's episode if you want to hear us talk about color theory, kind of, and then how it works with Disney characters. Yes. So that was a fun conversation, man. Yeah, definitely, guys. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out right here. I
was all right. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Before we go, I was just thinking about this a while ago, and you know how Grixis colors tend to be like the evil mastermind, like the real bad guy in the history, right? Obviously, Nicol Bolas also.
Yes, correct.
But Jund is the bad guy who's just like, I want to kill everyone. I have no purpose. I just want to watch the world burn exactly like that, rather than being like, I want to slowly watch everything fall to the ground and I will stay back here so no one knows it's me. Jund's like, I want you to know it's me. And then once they lose, well, their plan goes bye-bye.
Yeah, and again, going back to last week's conversation, we said Jafar was Grixis. We did say Scar was mono black. Scar would be a perfect Jund character. Like just going off of what you just said there. Yeah. Just sitting back and I just go back to the Be Prepared song of him just sitting atop watching all the hyenas.
He definitely didn't have blue at the end. He was just like, I was not smart.
No, definitely well, that plane went horribly wrong.
I didn't think that one through. He just did impulsively like a red card.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, before we get out of here, Jim, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You guys can find me on Twitter at _DG Campbell and on Instagram at Daniel.G.Campbell. If you head over to our website, www.hobbiesandhappiness.com, you can find links to all our social platforms there, as well as our YouTube channel. If you have not yet, be sure you head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, like this video. That way you can be notified when future content releases, guys. We have a lot of great content planned. We're actually, as soon as we finish recording this episode, we've got a couple other recordings that we are going to do. And guys, we've got a lot of plans, got a lot of sweet things coming up for you guys. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you know when we post new content. So thanks again, everybody, for being here again. I can't wait for Lorcana. Let's get some more of this news. We can just keep talking about this. So thanks everybody for being here, and we'll catch you in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Take care.
I'm the one